The first thing I want to start with is an exercise. I discovered this a little while ago, but I didn't really dive into it until recently. This is what it sounds like. It's this beautiful study of seventh. It's not a study, but it covers seventh chords by Brahms. And the first time I heard it, I was like, "That is gorgeous. I need to know what that is." And upon diving deeper into it, it's one of the coolest things I've ever analyzed. Here we go. We start with a G7, move to a C major 7, F minor 7, or F major 7, excuse me, to a B half diminished 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, to G7, and then he goes in another cycle, so he repeats that cycle of fifths one more time, and then ends on a C major. We're in the key of C. The pattern, I always used to analyze music by memorizing which scale degree each chord was. So in the past, I would go, okay, G, that's the fifth note of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And I always had trouble with that. And recently, I took a look at these and focus on the distances or the intervals between the actual chords, and it follows a really, really straightforward pattern. Actually, there's no pattern that's more straightforward than the circle of fifths. Starting on G, we move down a perfect fifth to C, then to F minor 7, then to B diminished 7, to E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G, and then repeating that cycle. That's it. It's just in the key of C, starting on G, and then going through the circle of fifths. It's really that simple. The pattern, though, the pattern is what makes this such a beautiful exercise. It's what makes me excited to play exercises. G7. So we have the root, and I'm going to turn to my notes here now. It follows a very the hand positions follow a pattern as well. We start with, actually, I take that back. I'm gonna explain a couple more things before I really dive into analysis, just to really set the foundation here. Each measure has 2 chords within it. Those 2 chords are played in the same, not I wouldn't call them the same hand position, but they use the same position on the keyboard. In this case, now I'll dive into my notes here. We first start with the G7, the root, the fifth, the 7, and the root again, doubled. And with the right hand, we start on B, which is the 3rd, the 5th, the 7, and the 3rd, doubled. Each hand plays or is positioned on the note that the other is missing. In this case, with the left hand, it's missing the 3rd. So in the right hand, that's where we position our hand. And we play everything but the root, which is played with the left. Now these 2 thirds that are the 1/3, but it's just doubled. The major third, or sorry, this is the minor third. It moves down either, generally, I think it's a whole step. And that's how we form the new chord. That new chord, the second chord, will be the second inversion of the whatever is the 5th the perfect fifth down from this first chord. So in this case, we had G7 first. We're going to move down a fifth to the second inversion of C, in this case C major 7. So we have the fifth, the root, third, and fifth, 7. As you can see in the left hand, the 7 is missing. So we start on the 7 with the left hand, play the root in the third. We're missing the fifth, which is what the left hand is positioned on. Oh, sorry. There we go. And then from here, we keep these middle thirds and move the octave. Also playing a third from each other. And again, we start with the same hand structure. I don't exactly know how to explain it. These aren't the best words that I have at my disposal. Root, fifth, 7, and root. It's missing the third, so then we take that right hand, fill the third in, and then we play the root and third. Sorry, root 7. Take those middle two, write them down an octave, and that forms the chord that is located a perfect fifth down from this, which is root position F major 7. We're now playing an inversion of B minor 7 flat 5 or B half diminished 7. And here's the cool thing though. This exercise, this is what blew my mind. Starting at the beginning again. The right hand is missing the root. The left hand is missing the third. We move to the second chord of the measure. In this case, it's the C major 7. Right hand is missing the fifth. Left hand is missing the 7, which is pretty cool. So let me actually turn back the actual analysis, or the actual sheet music. Every single measure, it follows that pattern. What is the right hand missing? It's missing the root, left hand is the third. We move to the new chord, right hand is missing the fifth, left is missing the 7. What does the root, third, fifth, and 7 make? It makes up a 7th chord. So I don't know whether Brahms did that on purpose, but every single time, as you can see right here, I made a couple of notes. No root, no third, no 7, no 5. Root, third, 7, and fifth. So this exercise of 7th chords is part of one of its main characteristics is that all of the missing notes make up a 7 chord, which is kind of crazy. Now, in order to complete, in order to descend into, in order to return back to your starting position, the circle of fifths has to be repeated twice. G, C, F, B, E, A, D, G. But when we reach G, we started here with a root position G in the left hand. Now we've reached G again. Sorry. I'm doing it from memory here. By the time we reach G7, again, we're now in a second inversion. So if we keep descending, the chords that are paired together, initially G was paired with C, F was paired with B, and so on and so forth. Those pairings now change. We're now playing a root position C, moving to second inversion F, which is not the case before. Now we've returned finally to our starting position, which is root position G7, and that's where he ends the exercise. So in summary, I feel like this exercise is defined by the notes that it's missing, and the notes that it's missing makes up the 7th chord, and I just found that pretty fascinating. All right, and it covers the 3 different types, which is the major 7. Sorry, let me go back. The major 7, 7, minor 7, and half diminished, which is quite elaborate. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and click the link in the description. I'm doing completely free one-on-one calls, and I'm also giving away a ton of free resources. Go ahead, check it out, and enjoy your practicing.